Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right. Free tutoring. For those who don't know, welcome. This is free tutoring every Monday, 2:30 to 3:30, and it's available just for you or whoever shows up. You know, details, details. Feel free to use the chat. If you can't, I'm gonna set up a it's a free chat live stream kind of thing in just a second. Give me a moment. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. Don't worry, it's black screen on purpose. No. Doing some live tutoring. Live tutoring. And even though people show up, I got some fun stuff to work on, so it'll be good. My face is like blocked by the subscribe thing. I'm gonna move it. Let's put my face right there. See what happens. There we go. No, maybe upper right corner here. I haven't moved my face around a lot. There we go. Up there. Turder. I'm gonna hide in that corner. All right. Welcome to free tutoring. If you ever any math questions, just let me know. Wow. The chat that I opened up for free to people is getting spammed a little bit. That's all right. People can spam it. Doesn't bother me. All right, we're going to start in just a second. Thanks for those that are patient. Patient people. Let's do some live teaching. All right. So check it out. We're going to actually be working on problem solving with word problems. And word problems with writing equations. And you're going to like it. Maybe. So, the first one is going to be this guy right here. Free stuff. Best way to help, like with yourself too, when it comes to math and things like that, is just Google stuff that you have, right? If you're struggling, Google it. But we're going to start with this one. For those of you that are watching, for those of you that aren't, no worries. So, the cooking club. All right, so the cooking club made some pies to sell during lunch to raise money for a field trip. The cafeteria helped by donating 3 pies to the club. Each pie was then cut into 6 pieces and sold. There are a total of 72 pieces to sell. How many pies did the club make? Okay, so every time I solve a word problem, the first thing I always do is I look to see, okay, what is this thing even asking me to do? Okay, and it wants to know how many pies did the club make? All right, so now I have to break this down and I have to look at what else is there? Like, what are the other details behind this that I can figure out? So I always look for my variable first, right? And this may be looking for words like every or each, or you may see that pies are, cut like this part. Look, each pie was then cut into 6 pieces and sold. Okay, so that's one of the pieces you're looking for, right? Because it's going to help you figure out how to write this equation. All right, the total is there are 72 pieces to sell. That's good. And they're looking 3 pies were donated to the club. All right, so you got to figure out how many how many they made. Okay, pretty straightforward. So you've got 3 pies, right? And each of those pies is cut into 6 pieces, each being uh, this multiplication idea of times 6, right? 3 pies. Each pie was then cut into 6 pieces. So there's 72 pieces to sell. Oh, this is just the cafeteria just donated these. So they have more than that. So there were a total of 72 pieces to sell. So you got to figure out how many they made. That's pretty straightforward. So they specifically the club. Okay, so now you know that there are 6 times x, x being the number of pies, right? We don't know what that number of pies is, but we know that that breaks down how many pieces there are, right? This is the constant. This is the thing that's consistent, right? 3 pies were donated, okay? But I'm going to take that away, right? Because I want to figure out, or sorry, I want to add that to my total, excuse me. I'm going to take that away at the end. I want to add that number of pies, but I don't want to do 3, right? Because that tells me number of pies. I want pieces. So I'm going to do 18. Okay. My total is always going to be equal to this part, 72. From there, you would just solve for x to figure out how many pies they had, right? So you're going to take away 18, take away 18. You get 6x is equal to, wow, I should be able to do that in my head. I'm a math teacher. 54, right? I get x by itself by dividing by 6, and you get x is equal to 9. So they made 9 pies, right? That's how the club works. Again, working on word problems, how to solve those. They can be tricky. If you have anything specific that you're struggling with, you are more than welcome to ask in the chat, and I will help you out. But let's look at another word problem type. Pull up a bunch. I found some algebra ones that are meant to be challenging and fun. Math is fun, said no one ever, right? Except this guy, except the weird teacher. All right, and again, if you have any questions, if you're struggling with any type of math, you're more than welcome to ask. I will help. Right now, I'm just doing word problems and writing equations for word problems, which is basic algebra. So, Ming won 121 lollipops playing basketball at her school's game night. Later, she gave 4 to each of her friends. She only has 9 remaining. How many friends does she have? No friends! I'm just kidding. That would be sad. So I always look for what am I trying to find first? That's how many friends does she have? And then I go and I look for the word that says each or every. That kind of gives me an idea of where my variable is. So if I see here later, she gave 4 to each of her friends. Okay, so that tells me that I've got 4 to each friend, each being the x. That's the thing I'm trying to find. That's what's missing. So I'm going to make that my x. She only has 9 remaining. So that's how many she has left. So that's my constant, right? And she started off with 121. Okay, so this right here breaks down a couple different things. I'm always looking for the total. The total is the part that's going to be left over here. Okay, I'm looking for my each and the number that goes with it, each being the missing number of friends. And then I'm looking for a constant, right? We know that she has 9 remaining. All right. Now, the reason I add 9, I will tell you there's going to be different ways that you would either subtract 9 or add 9. The reason you are adding 9 here is because this side, I'm going to explain this 2 different ways. This side needs to be equal to your total. Or if you think about it this way, I want to figure out how many I have of the total, how many I have left. So I need to take that away. So when I go to solve this equation, I'm going to be taking away 9, which is what I want to do. All right, so here we go. So let's change the color up so we can see how to solve this problem. All right, so I start with your goal is always to get x by itself. So I'm going to start with getting the x term by itself. So I want to get this term by itself, right? So what's in the way? The 9. Do the inverse operation of that. Take away 9 from both sides. Bam. So you get 4x, right? This cancels. 9, take away 9. And then 121, take away 9 is 112. Okay. Now I have to get x by itself, right? To do that, I need to get rid of the 4. That's part in the way, right? So I divide by 4, right? Because 4x divided by 4 just gives me x. It's all by itself. Beautiful, fantastic. And divide this side by 4. All right, so now 4 goes into 112, 28 times. So how many friends does good old Ming have? She has way too many to keep track of. That's 28 friends. I think they're only her friends because she had lollipops. Just saying. No? Is that bad? Bad joke? Sorry. Dad joke. If you have any questions, I'm going over word problems right now and how to write equations. If you guys have questions, you can always comment them in the chat. I will be happy to do any type of math you're struggling with. But otherwise, I'm going to stick with these. Stick with these. Let's pull up another one. Is there a second question on here? I saw 1 and 3. Nope. And number 5. Let's take a look at this. All right. Do. So this one, we're going to do the same thing. So this, again, is how I break down word problems. All right, this is any word problem. Always start by reading it, and then I'm going to look for what is it asking me to do. A lot of people go through and they start underlining things to start. Don't do that. Don't waste your time. You bought a magazine for $3 and some candy bars for $2 each. You spent a total of 19. How many candy bars did you buy? Okay, so we're looking for how many candy bars did you buy? That's my missing thing. This is going to be my X. So now I'm going to look for, in my word problem, is there a place that it talks about candy bars and it uses things like each or every, things like that? And if you look, candy bars for $2 each. That now tells me the number that goes in front of my X. Okay, so I now have 2X. This tells me some information. This is my number of candy bars. This is how much it is for each candy bar. Okay, that's my coefficient. That's how we break it down. Always. Every word problem is going to work like that. It says you bought a magazine for $3. Okay, so that's your constant. That's the next thing I'm going to look for. Right? That's the thing that's not going to change. All right. So I bought, so it's $3. And my total that I spent that day was 19. Okay, so there's a couple things that might happen when you go to solve this. This right here is the hardest part of any equation, figuring out whether that should be addition or subtraction. Okay, and a lot of it is problem solving. It can be kind of tough, but I think it's manageable. Okay, this is going to be plus. Okay, because your total is money spent, right? And this is how much you bought, spent, bought. All right, so when I take this away, when I take away 3 and get rid of it, it's going to give me how many candy bars did I buy. If I did a subtraction, I'd be adding to the spent. And I don't want to do that because I don't add to the spent, I take away from it. Hope that makes sense. I know that can be tricky. So I'm going to take away 3 from both sides, like you do in every problem, getting that x term by itself. You're going to get 16 is equal to 2x. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 8. So how many candy bars? You bought 8 candy bars. So that person now has cavities. Or maybe they're like Ming and they're trying to give some to their friends, all 28 of them. Whew. Any questions? There's only one person watching, so if you have a question, you're more than welcome to ask. If you can't type in the chat, I do have what's called a back channel chat in the description. You can go to that. It's like a free anonymous chat that you can type in. Totally up to you. Or you can just sit and stare at the screen. So, Turder. Let's look at some more. More. Ooh. Turder. I like this website. I like being able to pull questions out of nowhere. This is great. All right. So, bam. Again, we break it down. We're going to read it. Then we're going to look for what it's asking us to find. So Eugene had 24 to spend on 3 pencils. After buying them, he had 18. How much did each pencil cost? Okay, so this is the part I'm looking for. Each pencil. Again, that's my variable. That's my missing. That's my x. Now I'm going to go into the problem and I'm going to look for things like uh, each or everything related to the pencil. Okay, so you had $24 to spend on 3 pencils. After buying them, made $18. How much did each pencil cost? All right, so we're looking at cost of the pencil, right? Not just the pencils themselves. And we know we needed 3, right? So that's my 3x. Notice it didn't have each or every, but that's okay. It's not always going to have that. That's why you always start with what is it you're looking for first, right? And each pencil was given here. Okay, so it's my 3. He had 24 to spend. That's how much money he has total. And after buying them, he had 18. Okay, so I've got 24 as my total. That goes outside the equal sign plus 18. Right? That's the part that's my constant. That's how much he had. So I solve. Take away 18, take away 18. You get 3x is equal to 6. Divide by 3, divide by 3. And this guy bought 2 pencils. Bam! Word problems. Again, if you're going through this process, I mean, that's the big thing. What are you looking for? Make that your variable. Look for that each and every. Look for that number that goes next to the variable, right? Look for your constant or your total, right? After that, it's solve. It's most word problems you're going to see in school that I'm aware of, that I've seen. So, questions, thoughts, confusions, any good jokes that you know? Nothing? Person who's watching, where are you from? Do you live in the US? Do you not live in the US? Nothing. Hmm. All right. I hear you knocking. Try this one. Gotta love word problems. That is a. I don't know how to say that name. Abe. Abe spent half of her weekly. Oh, it's a girl. Um, a Basra? Wow, I can't. I'm sorry. That's unique. Spent half of her weekly allowance at the movies. To earn more money, her parents let her clean the windows in the house for $7. What is her weekly allowance if she ended with $12? All right, break it down. I want to know what is her weekly allowance. So that is going to be my X, right? I'm now going to look for, since that's my X, I need to go into the word problem, find where does it talk about each, something related to her weekly allowance. So spent half of her weekly allowance at the movies. Um, we've got, what happened to my, oh, my live stream was being weird. Sorry, give me a second. Uh, half her weekly allowance at the movies to earn more. Her money to clean the windows in the house for $7. What is her weekly allowance if she ended with $12? Wow. So we know she ended with 12, right? We know that she spent half of it, half of X. See how I did that? Half of it at the movies, right? This is the part that goes with her weekly allowance. There's the word, right? And so here's the word that goes with it, half of X. And then let her clean the windows for $7. All right. So there's my plus 7, right? So this is where, remember how I told you this is the trickiest part, whether to decide this is addition or subtraction, right? This is going to be a problem solving thing. I might solve this and at the end go, well, wait a second, this should have been a subtracted 7. Okay, and you'll see that in a minute. All right, but I'm going to solve for it. I'm going to take away 7 from both sides. We're going to get 5. It's 1.5x. Now this is tricky. Some people get confused by what we do when this is a fraction. Don't panic. You're still going to divide by a half. But here's the thing. When you divide by a fraction, it's really multiplying by its reciprocal, right? So keep, change, reciprocal, right? So you get 2 over 2 is 1 in this case, which is what we want. But I'm going to multiply this side by 2 over 1 as well. So I'm going to get 10. So x is equal to 10. So then we have to decide, does that make sense? Does it make sense that she had $10 to start? That's her allowance. And it does make sense, right? If we look at this problem, because she had uh, $10, right here. If I put it in for X, half of 10 is $5, right? That's how much she had left. And her parents are like, oh, by the way, you can clean the windows for $7. So there's her 12 and 12. So, ta-da! Again, same process. Looking for weekly allowance. So I'm looking for, I go to see what number goes with that on the word problem. I look for my constant. I look for my total. Same thing over and over and over. Any questions? Thoughts? Help? Nothing? Is my chat even working? Let's see, hang on. Hold on. I don't even know how this thing works. Like, am I allowed to have... Oh, there's live chat. Oh. Sorry, I pulled it up on my own screen too, so I can see if it works. Hello? Is it me? Oh, look, see, there you go. That works. Right, and I can say hi back. And that's a live chat. Good to know. Interesting stuff. Any other questions? Random person who's watching, it's literally all for you. You can watch. You can ask any math help ever. Or do you like this math? If you don't know how to chat, there are two ways. If you're on a phone, there's a thing that says live chat. You can click on the live chat and type that way. If you're on a computer, I'm pretty sure you can just pull it up, the chat, or not. Again, free tutoring. We got about 5 more minutes. Usually I do 2:30 to 3:30, but since most people aren't showing up, we won't. But 2:30 to 3:30, free tutoring every single Monday. Bam. Just for you guys. Just for you. So, again, this one was all about help with word problems and writing equations for them. You'll find that that's basically the gist of it. That's what I have found. You do get some tricky ones like this. Here, we can do a tricky one like this. The same rules still apply, but we'll end on this one. Same rules still apply, but it's just slightly different. Different sometimes makes people sad. So you gotta like different. Different is scary. Different can be scary. Don't panic. All right, check it out. The sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 39. What is the smallest of these numbers? Okay, still the same process. I love these type of questions, by the way. These are my favorites. What is the smallest of these numbers? So the smallest is my x. Okay, now the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers. So you have to think in your head, what does that mean? Well, I know that like 1, 3, and 5 would be an example. Now, we don't know if those are the answers, but we know those are consecutive odd numbers, right? So which one is my x? Well, that's my smallest, right? So pretend now in your head, you know x is the smallest, but you don't know it's 1. What is the relationship between that smallest and that next number? Well, it's x plus 2. And you're asking me, wait, how did you get x plus 2? Well, think about it. Pretend it's 1 for a second. If I were to put 1 in for this, 1 plus 2 is 3. That gets me my next number, right? Following that, how do I go from there to there? Well, that would be x plus 4. That works for every single consecutive odd numbers. Consecutive means in a row. Because I could pick 17, 19, and 21. And watch this. If x is my smallest, that's my 17. What's 17 plus 2? 19. What's 17 plus 4? 21. Works that way. Okay, so now that you know that, you can say, well, wait a second, how do I solve the problem? Well, this says the sum of those 3 consecutive numbers, sum being addition, so x plus 2 plus x plus 4, those are the sum of those, right? Is equal to 39. There's my total. I now would just solve this problem, right, by combining like terms. So I'll do that. Let me get rid of my parentheses because there's nothing outside of them that makes me have to do distributive property. I'll change the color here. So I'm going to combine my x's, right? So that's 3x. I'm going to combine my constants. That becomes 6, and I solve. Take away 6 from both sides. I get 3x is equal to 33. divide by 3, x equals 11. So that means the smallest number would be 11. Woo whoop! There it is. Right? So you could figure out the next numbers. They're consecutive, so 11, 13, and 15. Right? And if you notice, 11 and 13 and 15 added all together makes 39. Exactly like we wanted. Boom! Hope that helped. If you guys need anything, throughout this process, I'm here. Ask questions, ask for help. Um, yeah, stay out of trouble. Thanks for showing up, the one or two people, and good luck with everything.